What's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended. I'm Kim. This is Tyler, and it is Wednesday, Hump Day. Rant, chicka, wow, wow. How's that, bitch?
Much better. It doesn't sound like a fucking obituary. God.
Right. Hope everyone's had a fantastic week so far. I just wanted to apologize for not having our podcast come out yesterday due to some unforeseen truck issues followed by some computer issues. Tuesday's episode did not come out. So
don't you fucking put this on me. Don't you dare.
It is truck issues because we were supposed to do it the day before, but the truck issues put you so late that it would have been like we'd be recording till 1 a.m. I don't know about y'all, but that's a little too late for me. So we were supposed to do it today, and today just got all kind of fucked up. And just so we're on this now, we actually did a whole recording, but this dumbass here, my whole mic was on fucking mute. So this is our second take, and it pissed me right off. But anyway, we're not going to let that bother me because we got a lot of interesting shit for you today. And it's shit. So why don't you tell us?
To be fair, it wasn't even the entire thing. We still had another fucking 20 pages to go. So, okay. So let's get going. Let's get this started. Okay, of course, we are here Monday to Friday. We do have some things that are coming up. Things to make things better. A little more production. If you are willing to spend your time with us, of course, I always say that time is the one resource you will never get back. So please, I am beyond thankful that people come. They come and listen, have a laugh, have a cry, fucking tell me I'm an idiot. I don't care, whatever. I am privileged that you are spending your time with us. So, all right. Of course, we are on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Spotify 5 days a week. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Just hit it. Just hit it like Amber Heard hits Johnny Depp.
Ooh, okay? I like it.
Can you do that?
I like
Can we do that?
Actually, has anybody watched the trial at all this week so far?
I don't give a fuck about that. We have other shit to talk about. Shut the fuck up. No. Okay, so of course we're on Rumble, we're on Spotify. Hit the Rumble button, share it with your friends. Please share it, because apparently the algos be changing. So, all right. So there is. I was brought this information, and this sent me down a rabbit hole. Which, looking at any news article, you kind of have to. So, well, I guess before we actually get into that, so the Canadian Museum of Human Rights. I'm not gonna try and tease you and whatever. Stick around. Canadian Museum of Human Rights is taking it's going woke. It's going straight leftist, Marxist, communist, CRT, CT, like critical race theory, critical gender theory, critical theory, intersectionality. Whatever the fuck you want to call it, communist, capitalist revolution, liberation from
Yeah.
It's gone critically retarded, is what it's gone.
Flatlining. That's what I think this is.
You say white lining?
No, racist. I said flatlining.
Oh.
Because I hear this shit and it just goes dead to me.
Oh. Well, get woke, go broke. But so this so they're going woke. So we're going to talk about that. Why are they going that way? What happened? What was the catalyst that caused all this? But let's start off with this. Or should we start with the palate cleanser, or should we talk about how the government wants you to fucking hate money and everything else?
Nay.
Or hate gasoline?
Nay. Let's get right into the funny. Let's start off with a little funny for a second.
The great MAGA king.
Yes.
So make sure your sound is turned down because this thing is loud.
Yeah. Ready, guys? Ready for this?
So the God Emperor, the king of mankind, or the emperor of mankind, the God King, has been enthroned, and this is a couple years ago. But all right, let's just play it. Just play it. So the emperor of man has has been actualized. So
Oh my god. Oh, that dance though. Ooh. Imagine being one of those
for people that are only listening, I'll give you a little bit of information. So if you know what Warhammer is, if you know that like Warhammer 40K, not Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40K, 30K, that kind of thing.
It is a Warhammer dude with a trumpet. Holy shit.
You think I was joking?
Dude, because the first time we did this, the video kept freezing on me. So I couldn't see past a lot of the stuff that we're all watching right now. So that's kind of, yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Space Marine. Dirty Space Marines. Ugh, disgusting. Idolizing your gods. Well, to be fair, Chaos does, but your false god. But okay, so for people that are just listening, it is the Emperor of Man. And who is the Emperor of Man? He is, in Warhammer 40K, humans they become a spacefaring civilization. They've colonized the galaxy to the point that places have actually been forgotten and started like a civil war between the human races. So the Emperor of Man is theorized to be like the one that unified all these people. He is the manifestation. He is the living embodiment of the human civilization or the human race in the galaxy.
Sorry.
What?
I'm listening. I'm just still watching the video as it's going. So as you're talking, I'm watching this like Warhammer guy with a trump, giving her.
But all right, so the Emperor of Man is this great unifier. He's all right. So with that, I thought that this must be like maybe they got something wrong in terms of like the body armor, because I only know the talon on God King Trump's hand is the talon of Horus. Maybe I don't know that the Emperor of Mankind, who is this great unifier, and so in the lore, I guess I should say that they are strictly a secular. It's a secular belief. They do not believe in gods. They do not worship gods, and anyone that does, they are actually killed. Like that, there's no nonsense policy about you start worshiping stuff, because there's people that worship machine gods. That they think that if you worship these machines that have someone's soul or spirit in it, it makes it more powerful. So, nay, we don't know, no kneeling unless it's for a blowy. So my thought was that this was like a depiction of Horus. So in the Warhammer 40K lore, all these factions or these groups, they're kind of broken up into separate legions. So it'd be like or chapters, I should say, chapters after the ruination. All right, now shut up. I don't want to get too fucking nerdy. But so all these Primarchs that are leaders of these chapters are all clones of the God King, the Emperor. Like they are literally a genetic clone of him, but they have their own personality. So if you see like Conrad Curse is a Primarch, but he was like a fucking degenerate nobody, and actually, well, he ruled through an iron fist, Conrad Curse, if anyone knows the story of him. But so Horus Lupercal was the one that seen the Emperor and what people were doing, and they seen that they were like deifying this person, the Emperor. And so he ends up starting a revolution that he attempts to kill the God King. And, well, if you know 40K lore, he almost kills him. So that's what I thought this was. I thought this was the idea of Horus, because Horus has the talons of Horus, then Abaddon the Despoiler. after he kills Horus, gets the scary claws. I know it's super nerdy, but you have to understand my thought process, okay? The squeezy.
Look like you're
So this
squeezing some
giant
balls.
gauntleted claw, I thought that this was like the embodiment of Trump as being embodied as Horus, as in striking the false king down. Because, like, say, if you look at the US is not what its constitution says it should be. It's like a corporatist with this, like, communist legion sticking to it, kind of tearing it apart, and corporatism, consumerism. And the Horus has come to strike down this ideology or this fanaticism to these types of this belief system. And I don't mean in a bad way, like for like ruination, but actually for to bring it back from glory. So it's it's just I don't know. It was so fucking funny, and I know I can get super nerdy with this stuff, but I won't, even though I already have. But
I was just gonna
I'll,
say you've already gone nerd, so I don't know where this is. I won't bullshit.
it's the Black Legion. I
Yeah.
know.
Woo!
Yeah.
Black Legion.
Don't patronize me. All right, so this was just we do have quite a bit of stuff to get into. But it's just so fucking funny. And I'm sure this is done in satire. Like you could see on like on his right pauldron, it's like Vladimir Putin, and then on one of his kneecaps is the
okay.
is the Statue of Liberty, and then on the other one is Winnie the Pooh. Whatever.
Is that what that was too?
Yeah. If you look at it, yeah. I'm pretty sure it looks like it.
Okay.
On his knees.
Well, I know I saw
his
the
knee.
Statue of Liberty one.
Yeah, so it's really
eyes moving was creepy AF though.
See how big that fucking thing is though?
Huge. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to be one of those people that were walking in front of it, just the way that they're like going with their capes all over the place. That look kind of fun.
Those people look gay. They look gay.
I think it'd be fun, especially if I've had a few drinks. Fuck, that'd be hilarious. I would totally do it. Be like, give me your cape.
All right. Okay. So let's get into this. So with the CBC, so they had released a couple articles, and oddly enough, we're using CBC as all of our sources. So call me left-wing bias now.
The funny thing is I was already thinking to myself as soon as Trump came on, if my mom were to watch this, well, she just toned it out right there. She just shut us off. But now we're talking about CBC. Like, come on, this is like your jam.
I use a lot of them for sources. Okay, so the title is So Canadians love their cars so much that high fuel prices won't make most of us change our ways. So a little excerpt is so Canadian economists who have investigated the subject say there are rational economic reasons why people keep driving despite rising cost of fuel, and accept for those on the tightest of budgets and with the most convenient alternatives, gas and diesel prices must be not just much higher, but predicted to stay high in order to convince most motorists to change their ways. People are willing to give up other things before they give up driving. So what this is saying, we need to convince you. We need to do everything in our power. Is that too bright?
No.
Okay. So we need to convince you that gasoline ain't coming back.
You know what I hear? This reminds me of the whole smoking thing. You know, when I had first started smoking back when I was like 14, so gross. But they were like $5 a pack then, right? And I remember, when cigarettes get up to this price, well, especially as they kept going up, I'm like, once they get up to $10, that's it, I quit. You know when I
and you're at
did
20 bucks.
right? Now it's at 20 bucks.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's like they apparently were to incentivize people to quit smoking, but I think it's just a way for the government to make more money because they know people can't live without their cigs, people can't live without their gas to go places because, that's their freedom is their vehicles and driving and stuff. So they're like, what else can we go on? Next is going to be booze. They're just going to get all the
We're
good things in life.
Well, it's the encouragement. And I did want to say with regards to this. So who does this affect? Who does high gasoline prices affect? So they're saying even at $2 a liter, they say they'll drive less, but they're not. Okay, but who does this affect? People that live in rural communities, people that already can't afford it and are now being forced. This is the opposite of actually having freedom of choice.
Yeah.
When the government gives you the illusion of choice, it's not a choice.
No, and the thing is, like, honestly, to be completely honest, with the gas prices going up the way that they are, I literally feel like COVID all over again. You know, you have to get your shots, you have to do this in order for you to be able to work. Okay, well, with gas prices the way that they are, because we live in a rural community, and no, I know people are probably sitting out, well, move to the city. Hell no. I lived in the city almost my entire life. I don't want to live in the city, but regardless, okay, so
Why?
why
Like
what?
like why would you live in the city? You can't
Oh,
protect yourself. You can't
no.
you can't do anything. You're limited. You have these fucking weird ass neighbors that want to like if your music's too loud, well they call the cops on you. If you have a barbecue,
No, it's I
and
hate it.
I've said like I love our neighbors. Our neighbors are fantastic people.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them. So
Yeah, and if you haven't
no, but
seen our episode prior to this, one of our neighbors was actually on our podcast, who also has a podcast. But regardless, so now it's literally gotten to the point where gas is so expensive where I'm sitting there going, how am I going to get back and forth to work every day? Am I going to have to literally quit my job because I can't afford to get to work and back? Like, yeah, it's affecting people who don't have a lot of money. The rich people don't care. It's not affecting them whatsoever. So they're literally putting all these things into place, literally for people who are like mid class and lower. That these are the people it's going to affect. Why? Why?
all right. Well, so let's continue on. So if you're looking at look at this graph, you could see it's spiked, it's dropped, and now it's the highest I think it's ever been ever in history. It has never averaged $2 over $2 a liter. It has never. And the funny thing is, like say in Canada, like they see the price in the U.S. and they think like $4, $5, $6 a gallon. Well, that's about 4 liters. So the U.S. fuel is actually cheaper, and they're bitching and moaning.
Oh
So
yeah.
think of us. We're at $8, $9 per gallon.
Oh, that's so
That's what
gross.
that's whose taint we're licking at right now is $9 per gallon. And actually in the States right now it's about 6. But all right, so let's
I never knew
so to
that.
continue on.
I was just gonna say I
What?
never knew the difference between liters and gallons. Like really, I haven't really put that into perspective. That's really gross.
Yeah, it's 3.78 liters to or 3.78 liters to a gallon, I think. So almost 4 liters to a gallon. So if fuel went up $10 a liter tomorrow, we would probably see a pretty dramatic change in behavior, said Bruce Hellenga, a University of Waterloo engineering professor who specializes in transportation. But, he noted, current increases simply aren't enough to compensate for the perceived cost of switching to another mode of travel, especially in the short term. So again, this is a reiteration of you're giving them hope. You need to hit them hard where people go, whoa, you need to shock the system because, COVID didn't do that enough because we didn't learn. Or let me rephrase that. Government learned if you scare people enough, they won't even trust themselves, let alone friends and family. So you are seeing this. You need to put the fear of God in them that, hey, this petroleum shit is done. So we can continue on. First, people need to believe these price changes are permanent, not temporary. People see that the prices are higher and say, okay, maybe the next car I'm going to buy isn't going to consume 12 liters per 100 kilometers, but maybe only 8 or 6. No, they want fossil fuels gone permanently.
Okay, hold on. So not only are they going to raise the gas prices, so then people can't even afford to go to work, especially the people who live in a rural community, because people who live in the city, yes, the option is there to take a bus. So people who live in a rural community aren't even going to be able to afford to go to work. But now they're also going to force you to buy a new car because, well, you have to get a car that's better or more fuel efficient in order for you to get places. Okay.
The funny thing is with the transportation industry, my fuel economy is worse. It has actually gotten worse. Instead of like, hey, that I agree with. I would love for the next vehicle, like the next semi that I buy, that I get 12, 15 miles per gallon. No, I'm still, in fact, I am less efficient, but I don't have any emissions. But that fuel doesn't go any further.
So what makes it less efficient?
Well, because of all the restrictions that are on it. The DPF system, the DEF system, the recirculation, I guess that's good. Like I'm okay with that. But they've neutered these things. They have so many roadblocks in instead of making them as efficient as possible, they make them as emission low as possible. So it's stupid.
So they just traded one for another. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
So instead of making it more efficient, it's less efficient, but it doesn't produce any carbon in the atmosphere.
Oh. Oh, okay.
But so okay, so to continue on, so investing in new fossil fuel infrastructure is moral and economic madness. This is from the UN Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez said as he released the report. It is moral and economic madness. Who who in their right mind? So if you look at the world that we live in, it is built on petroleum, whether we like it or not. Do you want to talk about corporate greed? Because that's where this all came from. Why are we not talking about nuclear energy? Why are we not talking about geothermal? Or there's a type of salt. I can't remember the particular name of it. Why don't we have like these? Is it thoridium? I think it's called thoridium salt. Salt nuclear. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Molten salt reactors. There we go. Use molten fluoride salts as primary coolant at low pressure. Much of the interest today is reviving the MSR concept. So there. Oh yeah, using thorium. There we go. Thorium salt.
Okay.
Damn, I know. All right. So, but so why are we not looking at alternatives? Because all the government is saying, okay, well, you can't use gas or you can't use any petroleum. You can't use coal. Okay, so then what can we use?
We can do the Flintstones
Well,
thing. We can just go back, where, there's no motor, nothing. You just use your feet. You just run.
oh,
Flintstones.
buy an electric vehicle. Okay, but where does that power come from? That's what we're talking about. I don't give a fuck. Like, hey, I love the idea. I love the idea of electric vehicles. I love it. I love the advancements in technology, diversifying energy as opposed to being singular on one. But let's not talk about nuclear because it has that big dirty word, big scary bomb. Even though it is the most efficient process that we have in converting water to steam to energy. That is the largest system or one of the most efficient systems we have. No, don't talk about that. India has said, okay, well then fuck you. They're building one of the world's largest coal plants. One of the world's largest coal plants. because of their energy crisis. So, do you see what's going on here? So, no gasoline, no coal. Well, then what's the alternative? What can we use? Like anything? If I can't use this, like if I can't eat an apple and I need to eat apples in order to live, if I can't have food and I need food to live, what's the alternative? What else can I use? You're not giving a solution. You're just tearing things down. And that's a lot of what you're seeing. And it's moral and economic madness. India, in fact, I was just looking at the article from Reuters. India is building the world's biggest coal plants. So, in a perfect world, yeah, in a perfect world, the power is always on and the energy is bountiful to everyone. Well, what about when the power lines come down? What about when the sun stops shining, the wind stops blowing, the water stops moving? Now what?
We die.
Like look at in Toronto during that massive ice storm for a week. People died because of it. Look in fucking Texas when they had a bit of snowfall. People died from it
Well, what did you say?
because they lost power.
What did you say earlier? In the summer, when you lose power, it's an inconvenience. In the winter, when you lose power, people die.
Deadly. Yeah.
Really. Yep.
Yeah. When you lose power in the summer, it's inconvenient. When you lose power in the winter, you die.
Yeah. I remember like we've lost power before in the summer, and yeah, we had to go outside and start a fire, and that's how we used to cook. It was like camping, but we had a house. But then in the wintertime, well, at the time we didn't have a generator or anything, so literally had to have friends of ours come and rescue me and the kids and the dogs, because
Yeah.
yeah, not good.
And again, I love the idea of, like a solar panel roof, something to supplement. We don't have battery stores in Canada. We don't have a way of storing this energy when the sun doesn't shine or the wind doesn't blow. We don't have that option. Or at least the grid can't handle that. Or the grid isn't built to handle that. I guess I should say, if so many people are using it, okay, well, we need to power these systems somehow. How many dams do you want to build? Like how many wind generators? Like it's all the wind generators, I know. All of them.
All of them.
No, but it's a real problem. Like they're saying we need to shut this off now. Fucking autist Greta Thunberg says we need to do it not this year, not next year. Now.
Who is that?
How many that dumb broad that said that the world, how dare you? You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Whatever.
No. Anyway, I'll look her up later.
But okay, but I have no problem. Hey, if we're kicking this, this kid out of the pool, okay, then what are we replacing it with? I don't. That was a terrible analogy.
All I think of is like kids peeing in pools now. What are we replacing the child that's going to piss in the pool with? We're going to replace it with chlorine. Okay. Disinfect that
but
shit.
so something has to be done here. You see the World Economic Forum is pushing for a lot of this. Well, we need environmental. I mean, but they're not saying, hey, let's look at bolstering energy stores, energy production. Let's look at investing in this technology. No, it's just no.
Yeah.
Tear it down. Stop.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like it's literally a list of things that you're not allowed to have and things that they're going to take away, but there isn't a list to counteract that as to things that you can replace it with.
Yeah. So it becomes okay. So then, but then who gets to suffer? the middle class. So what? The middle class becomes low, like the fucking the rags, the
Yeah.
whores,
And then the poor people die.
and that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because hey, at least we can still go to work. You still can, drive. And it's like they're making, like, it's like driving is now like sometimes food. And to be fair, they're making food a sometimes food.
You know what the funny thing is? It almost feels like you're a teenager again who just got your license and your parents are like, "Are you a good boy today? You want these keys?" Hmm?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a once in a while your parents will be nice enough to let you take out the car. But other than that, no bueno. Use your feet.
Well, and it becomes like, what bothers me is I think of who truly suffers with this. Who really does. And if the government is pushing this, and if we need to radically shift our world, well, we don't. I would love for our infrastructure to be able to handle this. I don't know. It's really, it's like with comedians, say like Sarah Silverman, or I don't know, fucking Seth Rogen,
Or
like
are they still
where they say,
comedians? I don't know. Up for
I
that
guess
elf thing.
technically, and Sarah Silverman, like, she did like literal blackface, not like I put shoe polish on like our prime. No, she did black and big white lips, like
Uh-huh.
the definition of like a derogatory image of a black person.
Yeah.
And it's now I became like the shock jock. It's like Howard Stern. He was a shock jock of radio. How he was edgy, how he, swore, and how, he had chicks fucking ride a Sibian. He had midgets fighting. Like, fucking, what, like a gong show. Just absolute insanity.
Yeah.
And now he's saying, why are you doing that? I'm following in I'm just doing I'm trying to be edgy. I'm trying to be, engaging, exciting, and fun. And he goes, no, no, you're not allowed to do that. But you, that's what you did. Well, what I did was shameful, and I would never do that, and I don't think anyone should.
Is he really like that now?
Fuck yeah, he's
Oh
a
my
giant
god.
fucking prude.
Oh my
He's a
god.
giant. He is a cuck. But
That's one thing I can't stand is when people do something. I don't care if it's in your past or not. Just freaking own it. Be like, yeah, that's the type of person that I used to be. I'm not that person anymore. But okay, fine.
it's not
But
even that. It's not that. It's the idea of, I can do that. I can find a way. I'm allowed to. And then when people said, well, Howard Stern did it, he goes, don't use me. You shouldn't be allowed to say that.
uh right.
It's like that. Or like look at Sarah Silverman making edgy jokes and all this stuff. And then when other people do, she goes, that's transphobic. That's throw in whatever phobic. That's an ist. That's a phobe. Why are you such a ist phobe? Like, well,
An istphobe.
uh, so it becomes quite, it's the hypocrisy. Jimmy Kimmel, he wore a fucking black. He was what the fuck was his name? He was on the Man Show. What was it, Robert Malone or Rob? Fuck. He was a basketball player. I can't remember. I just remember I'm Bob Malone. Blah, 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 blah. Like he talked like that.
I don't know. I'm not a man. I didn't watch the
No,
man
I know.
show. Ugh.
I understand. But it's the same. It's the same point. It's the same idea. Okay, well, you did that,
Yeah.
and somehow you're exonerated from it. What? Because you carry water for what? But if anyone else does it, they need to be deplatformed. You need to, you can't associate with these people. Barack
True.
Obama called them literally the left and the woke. This fucking is it's a circular firing squad. They execute each other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I can see
they
that.
feel like Puritans. Okay, so like I said, with regards to the fuel thing, like I said, what do you do with developing nations? What do you just turn them into what? Just kill them? Let them starve? Because India is saying, "Go fuck yourself."
Well, at least
Like, no,
they're trying to figure a solution.
well, that's the thing. Is like technology solves the solution. God, I wish I still had that article from Reuters, but oh, here we go. Coal India to open big new mine this year to fight power crisis. There we go. Sorry, it's not the world's biggest, but a big coal plant.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. So what do you do with this? Like, so these nations that are trying to become, hey, like it's it's very much like the world has progressed to such a range. Like, with the idea of, we put a man on the moon, okay, but we still have people without running water. Now, did you ever hear there's that poem?
That's
No,
helpful.
never. No,
Did you ever hear that poem? Yeah, I've heard lots of
that's
poems. Narrow it down.
well, but that's how it goes. Like we put a um, if I can find it, um, I don't know. Well, whatever. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, was it Stephen Edgar?
Leave it in the comment section below.
So it's the idea of, well, we could put people in space. We could put a man on the moon, but we don't have running water. We can put a man on the moon, but we don't have food. So it's like like it's like these first world countries have gone so far, and they go, well, we've realized what we did in the past was wrong. So developing nations, you can't use these anymore. And they go, well, we can't even get to where you were.
Yeah.
Like, what are we, how, what do you want? Like, what do we do? Like, now we become more dependent on you, of any countries that are aligned with this. What do? They just let their people starve?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you didn't hit your carbon quota, so, well, I guess we don't send you your food shipments, or fucking whatever, stupid ass bargaining chip.
Well, shit.
All right, so okay, so all right, so the Canadian Museum of Human Rights
Ooh, the
was supposed to be dedicated to the progress, or I guess to show how people were discriminated against, like atrocities,
okay.
like violent shit, in order to bridge that gap and that understanding of showing how this can happen. How do you think they addressed it? Do you think they put on a big memorial of what the Great Leap Forward, or could you maybe think of what the fall of the USSR, or like Stalin, or maybe an exhibit like that, like giving, maybe doing something really horrific, like not horrific, but something that maybe not inspires, but that shock of, oh my god, did they maybe see how Fidel Castro and Che Guevara murdered homosexuals, murdered political opponents, murdered the intelligentsia, the educators, the leaders of these revolutions, and how they subjugated and how they destroyed these communities, these countries? Do you something like that? You think maybe they had an exhibit showing the atrocities of
Ukrainian
what
genocide.
the Armenian genocide, what the world of North Korea, like anything? Maybe Nazi Germany?
I'm sure there's a bunch of that stuff in there. Is there not?
Yeah, you'd think, but what they did was, in order to be more inclusive, I think I buried the lead right there. They took the plates, the describing plates, well, I guess, off their bathrooms. That's how they're fighting discrimination and showing the human rights, the progress that has happened, to show the atrocities that has happened and the progress that was made in response to that.
So how
So that
does
from
literally making bathrooms a free for all? What is that supposed to do, and how is that part of a human right thing?
well, I get funny you ask. So from CBC, so the Canadian Museum of Human Rights makes all its washrooms gender inclusive. So the Canadian Museum of Human Rights is doing away with men's and women's washrooms in a move to say it's a safer, whatever, a safe space for the alphabet soup people. People
Hold
are
on,
still
hold on.
listen.
I'm sorry. What? Okay, I thought it was LGBTQ. What is this
No,
2S LGBTQ? Are they
uh,
changed it again?
well, it's two. It has to do with two spirits. So I guess if you feel like in my spare time, I love to be an eagle. So that's like that. Yeah,
Okay, so
LGBT.
how are people supposed
Uh,
to keep up with this when they literally just keep adding more and more and
yeah.
more to the umbrella corp here?
Oh, did you die?
No, did you not hear me?
No, you're completely lagged out.
Oh, well, hopefully it came through on this end. But I said, how are people supposed to keep up with this stuff when they literally keep changing the name of the and adding more to the umbrella corp?
Oh my god, this can't be true.
What?
So as far as I know, the the fucking alphabet soup community was LGBTQAAIIPP plus, and somewhere was a secret silent seven.
A silent seven?
LGBTQAAI. Oh fuck, LGBTQAAIP.
How do you even
I think it's
remember this?
two. It's so fucking stupid. Like if you make a tent big enough, and if like you have your races, white, if it ain't white it ain't right, kind of thing. But if you take like a size, like like Caucasian people, okay, that's one group of people. But then if you want to expand that, well, you say, well, what about the people in North America? Okay, well, now that's a bigger umbrella that you're now working with. Well, what if you say the whole world? Okay, well then just by definition, like if you keep throwing shit into this basket, like all people on the world are people, well, yeah, no shit. Like I think that's kind of obvious.
What? No.
Well, unless you're like a Zer or fucking
Dear.
animal kin, fucking.
Unicorn.
Oh god. All right, so to continue on, so it says people are still faced with being forced into addressing or acknowledging or engaging in a binary, systemic. There has to be a typo here. Get a fucking proofreader that continues to cause harm. So these kinds of steps to remove some of these barriers is helping," said Heron Vaginathan, director of equity and growth with the museum. So the Die Cult's um, Office of Inclusion and Diversity. That's who this person is.
Oh, hail Vaginathan. What the fuck? Sorry. I should.
Oh, get a better last name. Like you could be whatever the fuck you want. Can you not be a vagina fan?
Oh my god. Okay, so I have so many things to say about this, but first I need to know why. Why exactly did they decide to take the freaking things off? Like, what is this doing? Like, why?
I, honestly, I don't know. Like I understand, like, because this is all like I said from the outset, this is all Marxist. This is all about a communist revolution. And if you think I'm bullshitting or I'm making it up, read the teachings of Karl Marx. It's not, he literally says it is a class issue. It is the bourgeoisie, the elite, which to an extent, I agree with. It is the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. And you see, it's a class issue. Well, now we've had scholars that have come out and said, well, it's not just a class issue. It also encompasses, you need to encompass race is an issue. That's where you get critical race theory from. Well, yeah, listen here, bigot. You didn't consider all the fucking genders. Critical gender theory. That's where that comes in. And then you get into the intersectionality where they cross, where gender and your identity, where your gender, where your race cross. That's where you get intersectionality. I know a lot of this probably sounds like fucking psycho babble that I'm just making up words. This is what is being pushed. You are seeing it. Your tax dollars. We brought up about the Canadian what the fuck anti-hate network. What a misnomer.
Right. You mean the racist
Like,
network? Yeah, got it.
Yeah. But so and one thing I don't really understand. So like, let's say I feel like a woman. Hey, that is my internal feeling. That is how I express my internally. I could say, hey, I got a fucking beard. But if I need an external factor in order of validating my position or my self-being, that is such a narcissistic, self-centered. And the issue that brought down Rome was hedonism. Well, what is hedonism? It is the idea of just pleasure for pleasure's sake. Well, do you not see those barriers being broken where we have to push transgender theory? And I say like transgenderism. Not someone is transgender. Those are two very different things. It's the idea of you where you confuse them with what they're fucking born with. Because now we're using gender and sex interchangeably. One is a biological system, apparently, and one is a social construct. Well, now we're using a social construct in order to implement those ideas on biological processes. Like, that's why there are women's sports and men's sports. It's not because some man decides, I want to wear a fucking dress today. I'm going to go beat the fuck out of some women. I'm going to go all Chris Brown on these fuckers.
Well, yeah, but if you're in a dress and you identify as a female, then it doesn't really count as, man fighting woman, right?
Yeah, well, because even in men, there's weight classes. Even in men, like even kids have age classes.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, to anybody listening to that, and they're like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, I don't mean that every single, like, I'm not sitting here insulting, like, trans people or something like that. I'm literally, at this moment, I'm literally talking about some random guy like that Princess Love or whatever it was, that was a man who was sexually assaulting women and then went to jail. And then all of a sudden, I identify as a female to get put into a female prison. It's those people that are fucking the system even more. Yeah, and they rape more people in there. And then there was even a black man who did the exact same thing and actually impregnated women in the women's prison.
Yeah, could you imagine? Like, I don't think I've seen the headline, but could you imagine woman impregnates woman?
Well, look at the Netflix thing. What? He's expecting. Like, what kind of fucked up shit is this?
All right, so let's continue on. So this might be a multi-part thing because we have a lot of information, a lot of stuff to get through. So this might be a continuation. We can roll this into tomorrow because there is a lot, and understanding the who and the why are a lot more interesting than what happened.
Yeah.
So I guess let's look at why this is happening. Why is the gender neutral bathroom? So again, from CBC, they titled it "Pervasive and Systemic Racism at Canadian Museum Human Rights Report Says." So dozens of people came forward with allegations of racism, discrimination, homophobia, and sexual harassment and assault shortly after a peaceful protest in support of Black Lives Matter on June 5th.
Hold on.
Okay, so again,
peaceful? Okay.
As far as I know, it was peaceful. As far as I know,
Okay, I guess maybe here it was.
like
Okay.
actual,
Yeah.
no, not in Montreal. And trust me, we have
Uh-huh.
clips of that. And of course, I guess I should bring up anything we do talk about. If we can, it is linked in the description box. So please look at it yourself, validate it. I'm not here to make up your mind for you. I'm just giving my opinion on what I'm seeing. And I think I've said before, like if you just pull on a thread, like all it took was, what is this? And then you go, well, who's that? Well, what's that? Well, what's that? What's that? And then all of a sudden things start, oh, okay. I get what's going on here.
Which is sad because not a lot of people actually do that, you know? So, okay, so these alleged racism, discrimination, homophobia, and sexual harassment and assault, this all took place at the Human Rights Museum?
Well, and okay, so I wanted to bring this up. So this is why I hate reading news articles. This is what drives me to drink. Is so if you read it, dozens of people came forward with allegations of racism, discrimination, homophobia, and sexual harassment and assault.
Okay.
I don't like how they wrote that either. You have and. You don't and. Dumb. Get a proofreader.
Right.
Okay, but homophobia, sexual assault, or sexual harassment and assault. So dozens of people. Where? Like, who were these people? They came forward shortly after a peaceful protest in support of Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
How many people actually at the museum? 5.
I thought
5.
it was dozens.
That's the issue of when you have to you have to read things between the lines now. What are they? How are they saying it? Watch how they word things. You really have the one thing that I find amazing with news. You really have to you become an expert in human language because you really like what you perceive because it just sounds like, oh my god, dozens of people from the Canadian Museum of Human Rights came forward. No, dozens of people came forward with allegations from the Black Lives Matter protest to the museum. So it's people from this Black Lives Matter protest
Oh.
came forward. No, even in the report says 5 people. I even have it in quotations here.
Oh my
5
God.
people. 5 people came forward.
So shisty.
Okay. All right, so let's look at. Okay, so then I just have this part highlighted. So then CEO Young offered an apology, but an apology which made no mention of racism whatsoever was offensive to many racialized people. Says this Phase 1 report written by Laurel Harris. I'm still waiting for a phone call. A Winnipeg mediator, arbitrator, and lawyer with expertise in women's and Black studies. So gender studies. In fact, she is a lawyer, so at least she understands how to abuse the system in order to uh, push her ideology. So I guess she's got that going for her. But this is why, like, you see, so many people have come out, like when Joe Rogan and his whole N-word controversy that he's a whatever
Yeah.
racist. This is why you cannot apologize because they're not looking for redemption. They're looking for excommunication. If you say one thing out of line, out.
Well, yeah, and also if you apologize, then you're telling them that what I did was wrong. And even if say you didn't do something wrong, as soon as you say I'm sorry, you're admitting to doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and in this world, and okay, so let's continue, and maybe we'll go a little bit further, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. So in continuing with this article, so the report takes the museum to task for not providing in-house training on anti-racism, which is racism, anti-oppression, which is oppression, unconscious bias, which is original sin, and cultural competency. So cultural competency is the understanding of how their culture interacts with yours. I find it so funny because one of the guys in here, he came from another country and he was written up for sexual harassment because he stood too close to men and women. Stood too close
What?
is an allegation of sexual assault or
Hold
sexual
on.
harassment.
He didn't touch anybody. He didn't verbalize,
Nope.
say anything. He literally was
No,
just
he's not.
standing close to.
No, he's not going, I want to stick my dick in your asshole. I will fuck you like Gishna. I will fuck you. No. Stood too close.
That's disgusting. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Be written up. And they're saying that this is pervasive. This shows HR and the management doesn't care. This is one.
What?
So this is, again, 5 people. 5 people came forward. So these are people that made allegations. Here's one of your allegations. I think in total, there was 12 reports from 5 different people.
He stood too
Okay,
close to me,
so
and he breathed on me, and he smelled like BO, so he assaulted my nose.
sexual assault, the aphrodisiac, baby. You know,
So gross.
there's like dating things where you wear a shirt for like 5 days and you don't shower, and then you like put it in a plastic bag and ship it off, and then it goes to women and they smell it.
Ew.
So some of the museum's content was also comes under fire for a pervasive denial of anti-blackness in Canada. As well, the report says it's insulting to have Indigenous tours and programs provided by non-Indigenous people. So again, it's the idea of like, okay, with the idea, we have to look at this through the lens of communism. This is all rooted in Marxism, communism. It is the overthrow, the liberation of a capitalist society. That is what Marx pushed. And Marx was a fucking fat loser that no one wanted to fuck. He had terrible hygiene, and he just sat there and pontificated about how can I do nothing and be seen as virtuous. Why are you laughing? It's fucking true. Maybe I should have
Kevin
pulled up
Hart of you.
articles of pontificate. Think, thought, to think long and hard about something. That's pontificate. Sorry.
You know what's so funny? I do that so often that it's like a thing with us that like I'll be talking with someone and they use a big word and I'm just like Kevin Hart and they're looking at me like what? I'm like, oh yeah. You don't know.
Let's see. Karl Marx smelt. There were letters sent that this guy fucking stinks. He fucking he just stunk. I don't know. Whatever.
Anyway.
That can be maybe we'll do that next year for his birthday of why Karl Marx was a communist piece of shit.
You smell bad.
Well, if you're not working.
I mean that definitely screams. What?
No, the bourgeoisie have all the money and power. Well, can't I have any? Yeah, that's like today's fuck. This is a leftist. How can I do nothing and I'm entitled to it?
You know they sell
something.
soap at the dollar store, right? You can get cheap soap.
Well, I don't mean that. I mean the idea of how can I do nothing and get paid for it?
Oh, that reminds me of the guy from Parks and Recreation.
Oh, Ron.
Yeah.
All right, so let's continue with this, and maybe we'll look at wrapping it up. Because next, we got some examples. Because all right, so to continue on, so the board has also committed to at least $250,000 or 1% of its budget to training in anti-racism, which is racism, unconscious bias, which is original sin, sexual harassment, which wasn't substantiated, and cultural competency. Which again, how other cultures interact with each other and understanding them.
Can I say something? What I don't understand. Okay. So if there was an issue with apparently people being, sexually assaulted
Too close to.
and all those other things that they had mentioned above. So okay. People are at the Human Rights Museum. Hold on, I'm trying to get on this train of thought here. Okay. So people go to visit the Human Rights Museum in and around the Black Lives Matter thing. Okay. Some people get sexually assaulted. Okay. So then the
Apparently.
museum stance was then let's remove the signs off of the bathroom. So then it's literally a free for all. The bathroom is supposed to be a safe space. What if there's a woman in there?
Oh no,
Oh, no, no, no. It is.
not
It is.
anymore.
I'm sorry,
Not
but
anymore.
how many relationships do you know? People, leave in the comment section below, okay? How many of you in relationships do you actually change your tampons in the same bathroom that they're sitting in?
Oh, what the
Or
fuck?
shit. Exactly. So if I'm going
Okay,
to
all
the
right.
bathroom,
That's
no, 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 no,
gross.
no. Exactly. So if I'm going to the bathroom because it's that time of the month for me and I need to change and do whatever else,
Hey,
and some
gross.
dude
Stop.
walks in, like, exactly, how gross is that? How is that a safe space for a
No,
woman?
you don't need to say that. Like, there's things of being like graphic. Like you say, like, hey, what if I need to do feminine stuff? Gross. That's fucking
Don't
disgust. Guys,
don't
shut
don't
up.
be a little bee, okay? Don't
Okay.
be a little bee.
No, that. Oh, now you're gonna shut the fuck up. Okay, so let's so I was looking at, and so this little piece from the Alberta Civil Liberties Research Center. So their definition on anti-racism, also known as racism. Anti-racism is the active process of identifying and eliminating racism by changing systems, organizational structures, policies, and practices and attitudes. Again, the and. Fucking learn how to read. God. So that power is redistributed and shared equitably. So again, it's the idea there is no truth but power. That's what we're operating. You have to look at it through this type of lens. This is why I encourage you creating things, developing things, understanding how these systems, how like our governmental system works. This is why I get pissed off because you're not even holding to your own standard that you expect me to uphold when you act well below that standard. Okay, so let's look at and it was so funny in looking at the Alberta Civil Liberties fucking shithole. They had said even white people experience racism, which I find at least you're kind of on the right track because white people experience racism too.
What do you think that
Yeah,
this anti-racism bullshit is? It's not. I like how they say that. So that power is redistributed and shared equally, essentially. No, it's not. Because they're sitting there telling you that
no, it
racism is
is.
bad. They're telling you racism is bad. And, there's been a lot of racism towards black people, stuff like that. And now they've like
No,
switched
you're
it.
wrong.
How am I wrong?
No, see, everyone fucks this up. It has nothing to do with being not racist. Again, their own words, their own teachings, their own scholars, professors, and doctors say it is not enough to not be racist. You must be actively anti-racist.
Which is
So,
being racist. Yes.
but you have to use their words. So they say, this says, anti-racism is the active process of identifying and eliminating racism by changing systems, organizational structures, policies, practices, and attitudes. So you have to recognize that there is racism in every single interaction. Everything you do, from fueling up, from where you get your coffee, because there is a system of power there. That's the thing. You have to look at racism and how race plays a factor in those interactions. In everything. It's not eliminating racism. It is saying you need to think about racism in this interaction.
Well, yeah,
That's what
I
they're
get
saying.
that. But at the same time, they're trying to disguise it or make it sound like what they're trying to do is eliminate racism, which ideally when you think about it, like being anti-racist or whatever, if you don't know the exact definition and the meanings behind it, it doesn't sound like a bad thing. Like, yeah, racism is bad. People shouldn't be racist and we should get away with stuff like that. But that's the thing is like the key word here is redistributing. They're literally just taking
Again, think of how there is no truth but power. And their idea of power is prejudice plus privilege equals power. That's how you have to look at this. That's the thing. As when you hear it, oh, power, because if someone is oppressed, well, in any system of oppression, there is a natural oppressed and oppressor in their idea. That's why it is insidious, because we want to be tolerant. I've said it before. We are so tolerant that we actually let people that actually are opposing to our position and give them the same authority or same right or same privileges that we would expect for ourselves. So you can say, I fucking hate you, I wish you were dead. You know what? By all means. But if I said that same thing to you, how dare you? Don't you ever talk like that to me. And that's where this power is now coming from. It's confusing to try and, well, not confusing. It's just have to think in that type of way. All right, so with this Alberta Civil Liberties Research Center, so what they had actually said that, like I said, so white people experience racism too. So they say, but it's so interesting because they use the word white. So I'll just read. This is right from the racist mouth. Sometimes referring to others as white or self-identifying as white may feel like we are reinforcing the problematic categories of race that we are trying to deconstruct. Like what you were just saying. Well, that seems like how you would do that. Like, how would you push racism when you're trying to deconstruct racism? At the same time, we want to signal that we recognize that even as racial categories are problematic social construct, racism, as well as the benefits that white-skinned individuals experience, are very real. The term white privilege, also referred to as white skin privilege, can help us unpack these systemic inequities. Put simply, white privileges are the unearned privileges that white individuals experience on a daily basis, often unconsciously, because they are not subjected to racism. These benefits are often invisible to white individuals because they feel like a given, like something that everyone experiences. Why are you shaking your head?
This makes me really mad.
In order to defeat racism, you have to be a racist. You literally have to become the monster.
Do you not see part of this in here though? Okay, sometimes referring to others as white or self-identifying. This reminds me of the conversation like I had playing my game a little while ago when I literally was saying something about white and all of a sudden it was like, oh, we can't talk about this anymore and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, can't talk about race. I'm like, but I am white. Are you going to tell a black person they're not allowed to talk about black people? No.
Oh, no, you won't.
But you're going to tell a white person they can't talk about white. I'm not allowed. Yeah. Not allowed to be,
Right.
proud to be yourself. And it has nothing to do with, oh,
White
I'm
power.
proud to be white. And no. Because I'm not a white supremacist. And I think those those people are pieces of shit. The thing is, though, I should be able to be proud of who I am. I should be able to be proud that I'm Ukrainian and Polish and Scottish and British. I should be proud of my heritage and where I came from. But I'm not allowed to be because I have pale pigment. That's not okay.
Power?
That's not okay.
You have inherent power.
No.
So again, yeah. All right. So let's just look at a couple examples, and we can continue on. We'll continue on tomorrow. So let's look at. So these are some examples of white privilege. I can avoid spending time with people whom I was trained to mistrust and who have learned to mistrust my kind or me. I'll read that again. I can avoid spending time with people who I was trained to mistrust and who have learned to mistrust my kind. What do you mean by my kind or me? That's one. I can turn on the television or open the front page of the paper and see people of my race widely represented. I don't. Absolutely, I don't. I don't see. I don't see. Which one? Do you want my actual skin color, where it's Caucasian, or do you want my heritage, where I'm Aboriginal? Which one?
Yeah.
Well, it gets harder once you actually go a little bit more than skin deep. You bunch of fucking racists.
Right?
Kind of hard. I can be sure that my children will be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of their race. What? I can be sure that my children will be given curricular materials that testify to the existence of their race.
I don't know about you, but I do not remember getting stuff in school that talked about white people and how good it is to be white or what I what? I never got
I can
any
do
papers and stuff like that about Ukrainian people.
Whether I use checks, credit cards, or cash, I can count on my skin color not to work against the appearance of financial reliability.
Mm, mm-mm. Do you know how many times
you
I've been
know,
denied?
yeah, yeah, and in fact, I go, I'm white. Give me money.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
do when I go
good
to a bank.
for it. Yeah, I just go, I'm white. Hello, just give me.
Yeah,
But
I'm
can you
white, I have blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm one of the chosen ones. Give me money. Right.
like I can arrange to protect my children most of the time from people who might not like them. I do not have to educate my children to be aware of systemic racism for their own daily physical protection. Do you see how insidious and how manipulative and how it is victim 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 victim. It's not my fault that I'm a piece of shit human being and I like to perpetuate racial stereotypes. That'd be racist. That would be
Yeah.
putting onus on me, and we can't have that. How could you? Uh-uh. It's not my fault I'm in a shitty situation. It's your fault. I can criticize our government and talk about how much I fear its policies and behavior without being seen as a cultural outsider. Uh, yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
What?
A cultural outsider.
I
I
can
am. We are seen as the other.
hold on. I can criticize our government and talk about how much I fear its policies and behaviors without being seen as a cultural outsider. Steven Crowder, Joe Rogan. You know, I could keep going here because you know what? We are cultural outsiders. Anybody who doesn't have the same sort of
According to our government.
yeah,
According to our government. So if I tell Justin Trudeau, I think your policies are dog shit. I don't like them. I think they're actually a net negative on our country.
you're
And
a
I have
terrorist.
people coming back. Yeah, I'm a misogynist. I'm a science denier.
Yeah.
No, no, I love my wife. My wife is my best friend. I absolutely love her to death. I'm a misogynist. I want her to do great things. I want all people to do great things. I want them to be achievers. I don't want I don't want minorities in poor communities to be shot up, killed, and be recruited into gangs because their dad fucked off. Or because their dad was killed in a fucking drug deal. Or their mom has to work 3 jobs and the kids end up getting roped into gangs because they don't have a community around them. I know. I'm extreme. I'm an absolute extremist.
Yeah.
Call me old, call me old, call me old KKK Tyler over here because I don't want to see people suffer. I want to see people achieve great. I couldn't care less fucking skin color. It's about what's in here and in here. And for
Yeah.
people that are listening, it's what's in your head and what's in your heart.
Yeah. I like.
Like, can friends? Can we talk?
Right.
Can we share? Can I like I love coming down to the States and talking to people. I love it. I absolutely love that I can hey, I'm Canadian and this is how we do things up here and I like I like this that you guys do and I don't like this that you guys do. And we can have a dialogue and I love it. But in our political system, it's don't you dare.
Yeah.
In fact, I would rather, and I've said it before, I would love to see a headline that says would be rapist shot and killed by uh by uh by the almost victim.
Yeah.
I would rather see that than woman raped and left for dead in a fucking ditch.
Yeah.
I don't care about the skin color.
No.
I really don't.
It actually pisses me off when I read news articles and they have to identify the skin color of the person and make that because that's the relevance of the entire article when it's not. If
Yeah,
somebody gets shot and killed, I don't care what race they are. I'm feeling bad for that person. And I don't think it's right. There should, you know what I mean? Like
the
I don't care.
worst thing is that it forces you to think in a racial manner.
Yes.
That's what I hate.
Which is exactly why I've said multiple times that the shit that they're teaching people now, the things that the shit that they're teaching kids in school right now is literally going to create the most racist generation of people that I will probably ever see. And it's disgusting. They think that they're fighting racism when literally they're forcing people to be racist. They're throwing racism in your face. There's one part on here.
Yeah.
Okay, one of your little I don't know, explanation-y thingies here. I found really funny. I can be late to a meeting without having the lateness reflect on my race. Okay, I'm just gonna say this that I'm pretty sure if somebody were to walk in late, they're not gonna be like, oh, they were late because they're Asian or they're black. That's why they're late. No, they're gonna be like, oh, they're
Well,
late. And n-
be
not
fair.
what?
Asian, come on.
I know they're going to be there an hour early. But anyway,
An hour early. No, they're gonna get in 3 car accidents and fucking go 20 kilometers an hour.
mhm, nice.
It's a
But
joke.
I know. But
And in fact, probably the black person's gonna steal their fucking rims. So
and then they'll get to work first.
yeah.
So the Asian will be late. See? But okay, I have literally been in situations where I have been late. I have been late multiple times. I have been written up for being late. Like it was a thing. And the thing is, it's not like they're looking at me going, "Oh, you know what? It's okay. She's white." Nay, nay. I literally almost lost
Yeah.
my job because of lateness. And the funny thing is, that was just because of the time that daycare opened and the time that I worked and my work not wanting to work with me. And I would get to work just on time, but that was considered late if I walked in the door at 7:30 on the dot. Well, you're late. You're supposed to be at work 10 minutes early. Oh, okay. Well, I'm really sorry, but because whatever, it's relevant. The thing is, my boss didn't give a shit about the fact that I had kids. She didn't give a shit about the fact of my skin color. She didn't care about any of the excuses. I still got shit and almost lost my job. So the only reason I
All right.
didn't
Well,
lose my job is because I got transferred someplace else. But
that's because of your skin color. Racist.
obviously, I mean, God.
All right. Okay. So with that, then this is why. Like, I'll reiterate. I could not possibly care less. I had seen a video of that. I think it was a university. They had a bunch of different people lined up, and they were doing a race. And they had asked questions. I think I brought this up before. That they would ask questions like, could you rely that your dad would be at home? Take a step back.
Yeah.
Or if you were concerned about where your next meal would come from, take a step back. If you had to drop out of school because bills weren't getting, take a step back. If you had anxiety because all of this shit, I'm like, me, 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 me. Like, I'm one of the homies in the back.
But the funny thing is, in that one too, it was very eye-opening because they had people who were, Asian, East Indian, Black. They had like biker-looking guys. They had people in suits. They had like it was this huge variety of people, right?
I
Women,
think you're talking
men.
about something else, but
Well, it was something along those lines. They did the exact same thing. So maybe it's a different video that you watched, but it was the exact same thing. And the thing is these people are stepping back and then they're like, well, look around. And everybody's looking at each other and they're just kind of like, oh, like we're a lot more alike than we think we are. Like it's,
oh yeah, no, the video that I watched, it was all the blacks in the back, all the whites and Asians up at the front.
fight it
Yeah,
out for the top.
I'd be I'd be one of the brothers in the back. That's where I would be. I would have been with
Yeah.
with them.
100%.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. We'll pick this up tomorrow. We do have a lot coming up for tomorrow as well. We're going to talk about a little bit of the Davos, the you will eat the bugs and live in the pods. So we'll talk about a little bit of that, and we'll see about trying to wrap this up because like there is a lot. Like I would encourage you, go look at the information. Of course, everything we talk about be in the description. But all right, let's get the fuck out of here.
I would like to know before we get out of here, anybody who's listening, leave in the comment section below how comfortable you would feel of being either sex, whether you're a man or you're a woman, being in a bathroom doing your business and the opposite sex walking in. Because I'm pretty sure a dude sitting there taking a poop and a girl walk in, that'd be a little embarrassing for them too and uncomfortable. I can't see them being like, yes, right, smell my shit. So I would like to know from anybody who's listening, just leave in the comment section below, like how would that make you feel? Like if you went to a place and they had a bathroom that was literally for everybody. It's what do you call those?
Unisex.
Yeah. How comfortable you would be going to a bathroom like that. But anyway, yes, everything again that we talked about will be listed in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we will catch you again tomorrow. And yeah, bye guys.
Okay, bye.